Hey, Keith Myers here from Suskee Air Squadron today, and just wanted to let you know that I got some pretty big information coming out today about chemtrails in Pennsylvania. I'm just gonna talk to people like you know, just ordinary people, and want to let you know what's going on. So I got some information to share here, and we'll start with a little slideshow action. This is some information about our organization, and please feel free to shoot me an email or go to our website for more information. We're also putting out a new documentary that's called See Something, Spray Something. And there's going to be a link down there in the bottom to check it out on GoFundMe if want to contribute to getting some equipment, some things that we're using to monitor what we're talking about today. And this is why I'm here, is proven beyond any kind of doubt that Pennsylvania is ground zero for stratospheric aerosol injection. And once again, this is coming out in correlation and in conjunction with another TV show that I just got done doing uh, from the Children's Health Defense. And I appreciate Dr. Brian Hooker putting that together for me. So let's talk a little bit about chemtrails versus stratospheric aerosol injection. Um, for the most part, that's what they are. Let's just call it what it is. And I've heard this for a long time, that you're just a conspiracy theorist, when in fact, it's a factualist and a critical thinker. And I'm sure that people have called different things to different people even worse than that. Anyway, this is a first of its kind worldwide real-time open source science experiment for identifying geoengineering in your area, aerosol injections. We're putting out the Pennsylvania papers. It's a data dump of over 17,000 documents, and you'll be able to download those on any of the links below, whether you're seeing this on my website or if you're seeing this on YouTube, it'll be down there. So I want you to join in and be part of the research. You can do this across the world. You can do this across your state. Just listen to what I say today and look, and I can tell you what's happening, at least here in Pennsylvania, because there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. It's going to go very fast. So go back, consider this a tutorial. I've split it up into two parts. So part two will be on after this. So we got links for the document dump below. As I mentioned before, you can go and peruse there. So what got me interested in this? Driving around Hershey and surrounding areas with my business over the last few years. In 2023, I started taking a lot of different pictures of stratospheric atmosphere injection. And we have here is a lot of different things going on, different times of the year up until just recently, 2024. This is one from Palmyra to Harrisburg, particularly heavy spraying day. This is right over Fort Indiantown Gap, where I kind of grew up, and also where thousands of troops and people training are located as well. So they're doing this right on top of people. And if it is for solar radiation management, then why are you spraying particulates at night when the sun's not out? That doesn't make sense. Now, people say, well, it's just contrails and everything else like that. So let's go to the official government publications. This is from the White House. Congressionally mandated research plan gives out a plan to carry out, spraying things in the air. It shows you how they're going to do it. And the stratospheric aerosol injections right here. And it also tells you what kind of planes are going to be using here and the payloads. So how many pounds or tons of stuff they can fit on there to actually spray in the sky. This says that they're really not going to participate in it, and they're trying to reduce things, but in reality, they are. So weather force multiplier, this is from military back in 1996. There's some cool graphics here from Microsoft clip art about blowing things up here with weather. Now, I'm not really talking about this kind of weather modification today, but I just want to let you know that it's out there. Some people are. Uh, let's see what academics have to say about it. This is David Keith's research group at Harvard. They say that they are studying injection of SO2 into the atmosphere. So basically, sulfuric acid. Now, look down here. It's kind of interesting to see how dark it is in here. And this looks a lot like my pictures. Up here, they're saying, hey, we're doing this. Now we go to Penn State. There's a gentleman there that has written a course about that. He's currently at the Penn University. I think his name's Michael Mann. He's also co-authored this with Lee Kump, who's there as well. And in their book, they talk about solar radiation management, and also there's some interesting things over at Penn and how they're studying as well. So, are some entity or team of entities spraying particulates in Pennsylvania? Absolutely, and I can prove this to you today. It's really easy to see. Let's start with November last year. This is what really blew my mind and caused me to take some action. So, I have different management events that I caught with cameras, and then the DEP ambient air website information. I'll show you later is corroborating that as well. So we have on Toursville to Kittanning or Kittanning, I think. I don't know. Pennsylvania's a big state. We got all kinds of particulates being sprayed around here, though, on this particular week and month. Now, this is the one that happened right above where I live, Hershey New Garden event. Hershey's near Harrisburg, and New Garden Airport is closer to Philly, Kennett Square area. And these are some pictures of that over the whole course of those few days. This one was right over my house, and it was a very low altitude. Now, Allentown, New Milford event, let's say November 19 to 20. I have some glitches going in here, but I'm just going to keep going here. So let's see. This one was really dark in the sky. It kind of blew my mind. The picture does not do it justice. And they were basically blackened. The streams through the clouds were black. So who to turn to about this? Well, think about the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. Their motto, see something, say something. So I did, and I called a bunch of different people and talked to them about the whole thing, and actually listed some of their names and just their contact information. Nothing malicious. This is all available on the web. I've just chosen to do some screenshots in the document drop so they can be preserved. And these are, all over your states and the whole country. There's people that at the EPA that are involved with these kind of things. So this particular woman, I reached out to her and said I was really concerned because I thought that maybe this is something that could be a potential terrorist organization spraying pathogens or potential bioweapons. I mean, it's not like we haven't had airplanes do some bad things in Pennsylvania, according to the official narrative with Flight 93. So terrorist groups have had access to small private planes, airports. I'm reaching out, to them to find out what's going on here. And I asked to see if they had some kind of meteorologist on staff, see if they could talk about it. So this kind of got me nowhere, other than they just said we're not in charge of planes, and thank you very much. So I reached out to gentleman Paul Markowski, who was very helpful. He's the head of the meteorological department at Penn State main campus, and we exchanged some emails. And in fact, he could agree with me that these things were coming from planes. So over the course of the rest of the time, I started looking into these other things. I reached out again, and I found out about the ambient air monitoring network in Pennsylvania that's been put in place to keep us kind of safe here. Now, they have all these little sites and boxes. This is the one in Hershey, all over the state. They measure different things. Each site measures different things across the state. Not all of them have exactly the same parameters built in equipment to measure things. So what you see here, and this is old, but the whole PDF is also on the dump as well. You can check that out. And plus, it has here some national ambient air quality standards. And this is the actual data site that you can go and run reports. It's a really cool application. It's official application, and it has Josh Shapiro's name on it, Jessica Shirley, the acting secretary of the DEP. And it's really cool because you can go in here and plug in all these different parameters for days, times of the year, and it'll come up with all kinds of different reports. And since I found out what was going on, I probably logged about 1,000+ hours, onto this website. So this particular day was kind of weird because these are the days I was taking pictures. Now look at the solar radiation numbers here. They're 12,500. Throughout the course of the day, solar radiation is measured in watts per meter squared by a pyranometer at different testing sites. Now, these hours during the day here have no sunlight, so there should be no energy being transferred, from the sun. And you can see over here. Now, the highest day that we get in the summertime might register 1,200 at the most. We're getting 12,000 sustained over the course of the 15th and the 16th, going all night long and into the wee morning hours. Everywhere else is just zeroed out. So I knew at some point that this was very suspect, and I did not fully grasp what was going on. I thought perhaps it was a glitch until I started looking into other data from different times. Now let's go to Allentown, New Milford. Look at the solar radiation numbers for the same days on the 19th, the days of my pictures, and the 20th. We have that same pattern going on here, concurrently running at both sites in New Milford and Allentown. Now, it's just insanely high numbers for this time, up to 12,700. And you can see how it's just blowing out all the columns here because none of the columns are wide enough, so it's cutting off the numbers here. So let's go and see what a daily looks like here in Allentown, 12,700. Now, all this other parameters, which I found out later is also missing surrounding ozone. And you'll see that these numbers here, the 5 and the 3, the 5 and the 4, these instrumentations have pegged out because of the high electromagnetic radiation that apparently is happening right now. And so let's go and see what New Milford looks like. Same thing. We got, and this again this is 3 o'clock in the morning. There should be nothing. There should be zero. And right here at 6, 7 o'clock, the sun is going to be down by, what we had, 11:19. The sun's down over here. Look, we got all this, but this is all pegged out here too. 4, 2, it's just all the same thing. Now, all this was deleted at some point. This was deleted by somebody at the Department of Environmental Protection. Now, however, this information remained intact. Now, there was a visit that I made there that I'll go into a little bit later, but see how the 4s and the 5 by the resultant direction, which is some kind of compass that basically, is pointing a certain direction. Outdoor temperature. Now, the thermometer and the electrical whatever it takes to transmit it to get it back to the DEP, that's gone wonky as well. It's all jacked up. This outdoor temperature should be in the 40s and 50s. Instead, it's pegging out 3, 4, 2, 1, and it's not its fault. Now, the ozone here has also been deleted. Now, this 1 o'clock in the morning thing is still kind of a mystery because a lot of places are missing that, but you can see this whole time. Now, on the dates that it wasn't going on, that's possible, or it could have been filled in. I don't know. Anything's possible at this point. Now, we also have what's called ranked averages, which tell you the highest days of things that have happened. You plug this in, I caught this. Now, I printed everything out, and these dates are important because I realized that something was going really wrong. And it seemed like there was some chicanery. Now, here's the proof, because they deleted this after my visit to them and I pointed it out to them. So let me tell you about a little bit about my visit. I figured that the only thing I could figure is that we were under some kind of a terrorist attack, and either that or something nefarious was going on at the DEP. So I went to the PEMO, which is the emergency management for Pennsylvania, and I met with these gentlemen. And they're very nice, and we sat down at the table, and we tried to figure out what was going on, and they couldn't give me an answer, but they gave me this gentleman, Dwight Shear's number. I called, talked to him. Now he's more of the radiation that comes from 3 Mile Island and that kind of safety feature, because we've had some great history here in Pennsylvania with that. So I reached out to Susan again, my friend at the DEP, and I went over and I met this gentleman, Sean Nolan, and we had a discussion in the lobby of the DEP, and I basically told him what was going on. So while I'm there, I had multiple documents, and he just kind of said it was must have been a false reading, some malfunctions, that kind of thing. And so as I was leaving, I left him this note, basically saying, what is making this? Is it HARP? Is it 5G? What's making, 12,000 to 13,000 watts per meter squared? And so then I made some additional phone calls to the Attorney General's office, the Department of Health, Attorney General's office, and the governor's office. And I couldn't even leave a message there. They didn't even have their voicemail set up. So it was very, very concerning. So I did call the secretary office, and I got a call back from her associate, Miss Davis, and I told her, she assured me that Miss Shirley would get my message, and basically I said that somebody is deleting data at the DEP, and they're covering up for a bunch of stuff, and it's nefarious, and it's probably like war crime, Nuremberg kind of stuff. And so yeah, that was the last time I heard from them. So let's talk a second about the legislation and the penalties for weather modification. There is laws in Pennsylvania regarding weather modification. They go back to 1968, and there's supposed to be a weather board, weather modification board, that falls under the Department of Agriculture. And this gentleman, Josh Monahan, I appreciate what he did. A few years ago, he wrote in and asked about possible weather manipulation and regarding 2018. And he thought that maybe something had happened, to beef up rainy conditions to thwart voters going out. So what they came back was and said that the Weather Modification Board was created by the act and blah, blah, blah. And what they said at the very end was really weird. The requester argues that there is evidence that cloud seeding occurred because of high rainfall during that year, which he says that it was made for political manipulation. However, high rainfall is not sufficient evidence that cloud seeding is occurring. And even if the requester could prove that cloud seeding was ongoing, it would not prove the department had either licensed or find any entities in connection with that activity. This is the biggest, lamest thing that I've ever seen. And Russell Redding, please do something about this. Enact, the board. It's just been sitting there. And that means it's unlegislated with no consent, no oversight. Who knows what is going on, what they could be adding to it, biological weapons, pathogens. It's just means for another avenue of nefarious research. And who knows what's even in these things. It's basically like gain of function for weather. It's promoting climate change because it's insulating the atmosphere and the heat cannot escape. We're on track this year to be the hottest everybody's saying it. We're going to be the hottest, and it's due to what we're trying to do to it. And also along with that is the high amounts of aluminum, barium, strontium, and who knows what else is in there. Forever chemicals, that are mixing in our lungs or soil, everything. So I just wanted to let you know. Again, I'm going to queue up part 2 here. Here is our new documentary. If you want to check it out, there's basically a link somewhere near where you're watching this. And again, it's for gear, and we're going to try to get some things together for the near future that it looks promising. I just want people to know what's going on here, and I'm trying to get answers. And the next part is going to explain a little bit more and see what you can do as far as using the database and the data dump that I'm providing here. Together, I think it can make a difference. Thank you so much.